Yeah, Scott Allen's not my player. I think as a manager, I'd be very irate if another club's talking about one of my players. So right now, he's a Hibs player, and it would be disrespectful for me to say anything about Scott Allen.
But you have put a bid in though, or 2 bids in, so that would mean that you obviously like the player. And
Of course, he's a talented player, but there's many talented players around the country, and we've been interested in a number of players, and that's a fact we have. So that one's been documented. But my job right now is to focus on a squad of players here. And it's not my player. It's very, as I say, it's very. I know you have to ask the question, but it's very disrespectful to talk about another person's player. So I won't do that.
So are you hopeful you will be bringing in other players soon before the start?
We're looking at 1 or 2 more. Absolutely, the squad's done really well the other night. It was very pleasing, but we need to keep adding quality as and when we can. As long as it adds value on and off the pitch, we'll be okay. But we'll always keep looking. The club like Rangers must always be looking to add quality to the playing squad.
Would you have any qualms with the morality, if you like, of approaching the club you're about to play in a couple of days' time to try and sign arguably their best player?
No, we're always looking. If you look around now, I'm sure you could talk about some of the transfers going on south of the border as well. It's not. We're always looking, and things happen for a reason, timing, for whatever it may be. But my job is to focus on the playing squad I have here. And as I say, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think it's wrong to talk about another club's player because he's not our player. He's a Hibs player. We expect him to line up for Hibs tomorrow afternoon and look forward to the challenge.
Would you expect him to be a Rangers player before the close of the transfer?
No, he's a Hibs player. What goes on, as I say, I'll leave that to powers that be. And my job is to look after my playing squad here. That's what I'm paid to do. It's to manage the football department, look after the staff, and I hope to do that to the best of my ability.
How do you think your squad shapes up now on the very eve of your competitive debut as Rangers manager?
I hope very much that Tuesday showed you some glimpses of what we can do, what we're looking to do. I thought we moved the ball well. First half hour I thought we were good. The goal was frustrating to give a goal away against someone who played like that, and the reaction immediately afterwards. But we finished the game very strongly as well. So the squad is taking good shape, a good mix of young and old. The average age certainly has come down, and I thought the new boys bedded in very well as well. So it was a good experience Tuesday night, and good feedback also from the Burnley staff, who I know very well, obviously.
You've not played probably as many pre-season friendlies as you would have liked in an ideal world, I guess. But nonetheless, given that this is your first competitive match, do you think you are in a position to go out and give a good account of yourself?
Absolutely, and again the other night I think there was no hint, certainly the first hour, of a pre-season friendly. I hope not anyway. We're fit, we're well. This is game 4 of our pre-season programme, but it doesn't mean we're not going as strong as possible to win the game. Every tournament we go into, we want to win it.
Mark, sorry, it was the same last year, Rangers Hibs in the first round. Is this ideal given the competition is maybe the least prestigious in Scottish football? Is this the ideal start for you?
Yeah, I think we have to look at the quality of the games, and you always try and stagger your games and increase the quality as you go through your pre-season programme. So it was a big jump to go from Spurs and Ayr behind closed doors to suddenly face Burnley at Ibrox, a team in the Premier League last year, was probably too big a jump in an ideal scenario. But it was a good experience, and it worked out really well for all concerned. So again, we want a highly competitive, good quality fixture for game 4. I'm sure that will be the case tomorrow.
Is this a good chance to size his Hibs up as well in terms of for the league this season?
I'm not, this sounds disrespectful, far from it. My only focus is Rangers. Where are we fitness-wise? Where are we quality-wise? Where are we in terms of pattern of play and bedding in a football philosophy? That's all I'm concerned about. The opposition, as I say, is good quality, absolutely, and we're looking forward to the challenge of the game, but the focus has to be Rangers Football Club.
But when you look at the Scottish Championship for next season, and you look at the teams that are in the Scottish Championship, would you think that Hibs would be probably your nearest?
There's some very good teams. The likes of St Mirren Hibs absolutely will be up there. There's no doubt about that. So we have to be aware of all the threat. But I think I'm always being told about teams playing against Rangers and the old cup final philosophy. But we have to be aware of that. At home and away, they have to pull the jersey on and try and maintain a level of consistency every time we play. That has to be the case. We can't be very good one week and poor the next. That's not going to work for us. We have to recognise the standards, the demands that are placed upon the players and the staff, and make sure we strive to achieve them every week.
Mark, Hibs have pretty much kept the crux of the squad from last season. Has that helped you and David Weir as you prepare for your first match, knowing what lies ahead? No, they have. They've
had a chance to bed it in, did very well in their recruitment, and as I said, gave young players a chance. And of course, they're going to have a more settled team in terms of length of service, so to speak. But from our point of view, again, I don't want to come across as arrogant and disrespectful. Far from it. Our focus is us here. That's all we're looking for. We recognise they're a good team. The message to our players about any opposition will be 5 minutes.
If I may, if I could take the individual out of it, I appreciate you don't want to talk about a specific player that's contracted to a club, but the statement from Hibs and Alan Stubbs' subsequent comments seem to suggest that Hibernian are rather riled with the way Rangers has conducted the business in the pursuit of said player. Are you and Rangers happy the way you've conducted your business?
Yeah, my job, as I said earlier, is that football department out there, on the grass, managing the players, managing the group of staff around the players and working with the academy. That's my job. And as I say, it's not me avoiding your question. That's what I have to do. I'm paid to do that job. The other work, the more difficult stuff, is handled by the powers that be. So I'm always happy that Rangers conduct their business in the right manner and they look to do the best for Rangers Football Club. And we have to look after Rangers Football Club in everything that we do. And that selfish approach is, I think, any successful business, let alone football, is looking after number one, so to speak.
Alan told us that he had a conversation with you about the player. From your conversation, what can you tell us? Were you discouraged from making any further pursuit of his player? No,
Alan phoned me manager to manager. I know Alan from his days at Everton. I was running a tournament called the Next Gen Tournament. Everton were keen to enter that tournament, and that's how I met David Weir as well. So I know Alan very well through that. A lot of respect for him, for his football knowledge, his career, and the success he's had with Hibs, etc. But I'm conscious of that. I'm very conscious of that. And as I say, the conversation was a polite, courteous, giving a manager's viewpoint, which I understand. He gave me his viewpoint on the situation, and I said, that's great, Alan, appreciate the phone call, thanks very much, see you Saturday. And it really was that. One
final question on this, Carol, for me. Hibs obviously made it very public with their statement. Did that surprise you, or what was your reaction to
No, you asked me to comment about another club's...
but it affects Rangers as well.
It does, but it's another club. You know, it's like me commenting on any football club. It's how they conduct their business is down to them, and I'm sure they do it in the best interest of their football club. What Rangers have to do is conduct its business in the best manner possible to achieve success here at this football club, and that's all we can do, and I think any club will be the same up and down the country.
Tomorrow's game be a marker, if at all, for what lies ahead over the 8-9 months?
It's a marker for us in terms of Rangers Football Club. You know, how fit are we? You know, how the new players bedding in, how the patterns of play being developed. You know, is the tempo right? Is the intensity right? Is the dialogue right? Is our pre-match process right? Staying overnight tonight? Is the food right? Everything you have to do to make sure the environment around those players gives them the best chance to be as good as they can, and that's what we'll always strive to be.
You say it's match 4 of pre-season. Is that signify that you're not quite ready for the competitive season?
No, not at all. Not at all. It's any pre-season programme is preparing your players for the start of the league campaign. The league campaign is a dominant tournament. It has to be. Of course, it doesn't devalue the other tournaments we enter, but the focus of us is to win the league this year. That's our target, and I'm sure every other team in the league will say the same. So it doesn't devalue it at all. We're ready. It's game 4. You saw on Tuesday night that we're fit. We're in good shape, and hopefully we can take that further now with a good performance tomorrow.
From a personal point of view, Mark, as your first competitive game approaches nearer and nearer, is it getting ever more real and real, the demands and what's expected here?
Yeah, you have to look around, and I'm well aware of that. And I had a day at home yesterday, and you take the dog for a walk and you think about things, and you realise the weight of expectation, the enormity of the club, and the history of the club. Time and time again, you remember yourself. But you remember what you have to do and the challenge we face and the responsibilities we have. But you have to enjoy that. You have to enjoy that. Otherwise, don't take these type of jobs. And we know what we have to do as a group of players and staff, and hopefully we can be successful.
Are you getting that a lot of people stopping you in the streets and saying, go on, Mark, or whatever?
One or two friendly ones, one or two not quite so friendly, but that's life. But no, it's good. The fans have been great. They've been really supportive, and looking forward to it.
The way you mentioned the league being the absolute priority, Matt, is it fair to say that you're acutely aware that failure on that front is simply not an option at Rangers?
No, it's a huge club. It's a huge club. What's happened over the last 3 or 4 years is well documented. And I come in now knowing what we have to do with David. We know what we have to do. And someone like David Weir, with his attachment and his history at the club, is very, very more than helpful. But we know what we have to do. It's very, very clear for us, and we know what represents success and what would represent failure. That's obvious for all to see.
I think it was Dave King who said that there's no point in signing players just to get out of the Championship. That the process has to be signing players who can compete next year, hopefully from your point of view, at the top of the Premiership. Do you feel that the calibre of player that you've been able to bring in has fits that bill?
Absolutely. I'm not one for short-term fixes. It's never been on our agenda at all. And I don't think any player we put in right now is a short-term fix. Look at the age, Fodringham 23, Keenan just turned 24, etc. Danny Wilson 23. Look at the young players. Waghorn's 25, so they're young, good development potential. So we're buying players now, hopefully, to be here for the long haul.
Your starting lineup the other night, if you think all of your new signings, is it safe to assume that by and large that you guys you brought in will be your form the core of your starting?
No, not at all. There's no, if you do that, I think you kill the unity within a squad. So we have a squad of players, and everyone's got to see a pathway to the first team. And the boys that came in the second half, Jordan, Tom Walsh, Fraser Eddy, etc., Kenny Miller, all these guys, Darren McGregor came on, did a very good job. So we have to know that if we lose a player to injury or suspension or for whatever reason, we have to know we have the strength in depth. So it's always about the squad, never about the 11 or the 14.
How many more players ideally would you like to add to the squad?
In an ideal world, maybe one or two more, just to add a little bit of quality in key positions. But what we have right now is a very talented squad of players.
What's the update on John Eustace, Mark?
John's done really well, trained this morning, increased the loading over the last 10 days, responded really well to it. He's out there, he'll join the squad, hopefully next week, which is great news for us.
Do you have a full squad available apart from John?
Apart from Cammy, Cammy's just getting nearer, which is good news, but apart from Cammy, we have a full squad to pick from.